This is a video to help you with worksheet 3.4, where you have to subtract mixed numbers with renaming. Okay, the first problem on 3.4 looks like this. Number 1 looks like this. And when you do 3.4, you need to make sure you do it on a separate sheet of paper. The first problem is 5 1/8, and then I have to take away 3 3/4. The first step when I have a problem like this is to get a common denominator. And the multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24. The multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16. So the smallest common denominator, or the smallest multiple of both 4 and 8, is going to be 8. So I'm going to rewrite this as something over 8. So this is going to change to 6/8. Okay? So now I have 3 6/8. The problem I have is I can't take 6/8 away from 1/8. So what I have to do is rename it. And this is kind of like how I did, remember when I was making pizzas and I was actually selling pizzas. If I have 5 full pizzas and then another 1/8 of a pizza, and I have a customer who comes in and asks for 3 full pizzas and 6/8 of a pizza, I had to figure out what I did because I didn't have 6/8 of a pizza to give him. So what I ended up doing is cutting one of my pizzas into 1/8 and renaming the fraction 5 1/8. Now, I haven't changed the amount of pizza that I have, but what I've done is I've just renamed it. Now I have 4 full pizzas with 9/8. Here's my 1, 2, 3, 4 full pizzas. There's 8/8, which is the same as 1, and the 9/8 is right there. Now I can subtract those fractions. So if I subtract those fractions, I take 4 minus 3, which is 1, and 9/8 minus 6/8, which is 3/8. And that's how I subtract mixed numbers where I have to rename them. We'll do a couple more here. I'll do one more with you, and then I'll have you guys work on them. So we'll do number 2. Number 2 was like this, and make sure you write it on a separate sheet of paper because there's not enough room in that little worksheet that we gave you. So I have 8 2/7, and I have to subtract 2 1/2. Okay, so the first step again is to get a common denominator. Let's write those down. Get common denominator. That's the first step. So when I get a common denominator, my multiples of 7 are 7, 14, 21. My multiples of 2 are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So my smallest common denominator is going to be over 14. So I'm going to rewrite this as 8 and 4/14. I multiply 2 by 7 for 14 and 2 by 2 for 4. I have to multiply 2 by 7, so this is going to be 2 and 7/14. Okay? So I've gotten that far. I've got the common denominator. Now, the problem is I can't take 7/14 away from 4/14. So the second part is to rename mixed number. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to take one of my wholes away. So if I take one of my wholes, if I picture this, I have 8 full pizzas and then 4 slices out of 14. And I have to take 7 slices and 2 full pizzas. So if I take one of my whole pizzas, I'll be left with just 7 full pizzas. And then what I can do is I can go 14 plus 4, and that's going to be 18 over 14. And now I can subtract it, 2 and 7 over 14. So when I subtract those, 7 minus 2 is 5, 18 minus 7 is 11/14. So my answer for number 2 is 5 and 11/14. And that is how I subtract mixed numbers where I have to rename the top fraction.